And I understand that this shit wasn't easy, but nigga, we did it. Yeah, yeah. And all them hoes and all them niggas that wasn't fucking with us, now we them niggas. And now we rich now. We got money. I don't give a shit, no. And we did it. Young nigga come up from nothing, now he getting to them riches. And it's the life of a young, rich nigga.
Yo. What's going on out there? Y'all already know who it is. It's your boys, the Rize Podcast, with your boy Coach Squeeze, aka the Smoothie King, in the building. All Access International and Limp Ball Smarmy in the building.
Boy, I just peeped at the YouTube before I got on here. Boy, them podcasts is lighting up, man. Shit crazy, boy.
Damn.
Everybody talking crazy.
They don't got nothing else better to do.
Everything. Tank across.
They got to keep themselves relevant. Some of the titles I be seeing and stuff, I'll be like, man, these guys, man. Let me get the sponsors out of the way. Hey, everybody in the chat, family in the chat, man. How y'all doing, man? Just navigating through, man. Let me get the sponsors out of the way. 5-time world champ, 4 different weight classes. First ballot Hall of Famer, Baltimore's own GTD. Redesigning minds by mine at the time. We know mine is a terrible thing to waste. Shout out to www.kenichibed.com. Use code TRP. You'll get 15% off. Shout out to www.narslipgallery.org. Use RIZE. Rise 10. You'll get 10% off, man. Support Damari. He doing a lot of big things, man. Y'all got to support these kids, man. Go on their page and see what they got going on, man. You can't talk about it and then don't be about it, man. These kids doing, when they not kids, they young men doing the right thing, yo. Go over to their pages. You don't got to get nothing, but just go over there and see, man, and see what they got going on, man. You know, I know it ain't gossip, but it's something that everybody talk about, but they don't do it. So these young men doing the right thing, go over there and support them, man. Only take a minute of your time. That's it, man. Shout out the EOE, Education Over Everything. Shout out the Bad Girls Promotion, Miss Nikki, Coach Brandy, Miss Yaya and the crew. Shout out the Four Corners Boxing featuring Maurice and Jenny Jones. Go over there to 12 rounds of boxing once every Wednesday and support them. They be having me and Senior and Limp Ball and Calvin looking fly, man. Appreciate you guys. Shout out to Under Armour. Thanks for all you do. Don't forget to go down to 1901 Pennsylvania Avenue. Get 12 rolls for $7. Sherry's Essential. Support black businesses, man. Top of the line product. Scott Tissue don't need no more money. They good. Till the earth fall off his asses. What else I say? Under Armour. I said Under Armour. Thanks for all you do. Last but not least, the official Gay Boxing, me and Senior in the building. We got it. We up in the house with the big dogs. We stomping with the big dogs. Y'all can say it with me. Box. Oh, man. I want everybody to keep Miss Tanya in y'all prayers, man. There's always something, man. Always just keep her in y'all prayers, man. Smoothie King, right back at you with another one. Miss Tanya Vandross, Williams Jr., thanks for the 5-piece nugget on a super sticker. We appreciate you, Miss Tanya.
Appreciate you, Miss Tanya. We praying for you. One more, Squeeze.
Smoothie King, right back at you with another one. Miss Tanya Vandross, Williams Jr., thanks for the 10-piece nugget. Yo, another one. Box Raw. Baltimore, Maryland coaches.
Calvin, Kenny, Hunt, Josh, Steve, Mike, Nikki, Fighters, Amateur Senior, Smoothie King, and my babies, GTD, Bad Girls Promotion, Mr. Abdul Wahid, Killer B, and GTD. Appreciate you, Miss Tanya. Thanks for the support. Like I said, we praying for you. Hope you get a speedy recovery. Appreciate you, Miss Tanya.
Appreciate you.
We got a special guest coming on tonight. Go ahead. You know what I mean? Bring him in if you got it.
Be careful.
Let's bring him in. Mr. Juan Pro-Am fighting. Right, Coach?
Yeah.
What's going on, Mr. Juan?
In the building.
Mr. Juan.
Hey. Can y'all
How
hear
you
me?
doing?
I'm good.
Yes, sir. How are you? Sorry for the delay. Everybody in the chat, what's going on? Want y'all to meet Mr. Juan from Pro-Am Fight Talk.
Hey, appreciate you guys, man.
I appreciate you for coming on.
I'm always looking for a platform, you know, and I've been covering boxing in the DC, you know, Maryland, the DMV area actually for some years now, man. And, you know, and I'm gonna start putting I was an avid fan of boxing, man, because when I covered it and when I really loved it, man, I mean, I put my heart and soul into it. You know what I mean?
Yes, you did.
And you know, I spent a lot of time away from my family, you know, hitting the gyms, talking to the fighters. And I wasn't going talking to the fighters that was just hot. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wanted to talk to the hot fighter. I wanted to talk to the fighter that just was coming up. You know, the kid I watched in the Golden Gloves and things like that. And then when they turned pro and watched their careers, you know, blossom to where they are, you know, to this day. And in that time span, man, a lot of things changed in boxing. You know what I mean? It's, you know, you spend time with guys that were hungry at that moment, you know, and you felt that passion coming from them when you talk to them in the interviews. And not all fighters now, not all of them. You know, you got your I ain't gonna say bad apples, but you know, you have your fighters that thought they made it. You know what I mean? And they still had a lot to accomplish, you know, and they just wasn't there yet. And then also how not just local fighters, but boxing in general, how the promoters started, you know, trying to grow the sport, but they wasn't letting the fans, the true boxing fans, see what they wanted to really see, you know, and the money became so big now that fighters are getting I ain't gonna say baby. Actually, they are. A lot of fighters are getting baby walked through the system, you know, and they getting that extra. They getting that extra security, you know, to keep them safe and not let them get challenged like they supposed to be challenged. You know what I mean? And because Coach Kenny, you know, we were just talking earlier on the phone today. That Sugar Ray with Hearns, Duran, and all those guys, man, them guys was pushing each other.
They
you know, and I mean Hagler and them guys, man. I mean, they were beating each other, but they didn't let each other get off the hook. You know what I mean?
Right.
They didn't let each other get off the hook. Okay, you beat me. Guess what? We're gonna do it again. You know, and that era was that was good boxing for the fans.
Man,
you know,
best.
Yeah, that was the best, man. And it's not like that anymore. You know, I guess it was more my heart that kept me in it. you know, to keep coming to these local shows in this day and era, you know, and to see those guys, you know, come up. But I think I had to really sit down and say, man, do I really want to watch this? Do I really want to cover this? Do I really want these guys to present themselves to the boxing fans as genuine when they're not genuine?
Right.
You know, so I had to take my platform off the list. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And I couldn't see myself continue to do what I had in my heart at the beginning, not satisfy me to let these guys grow. You know, because remember, man, I seen these guys when they were kids.
They was babies.
Before all the tattoos and all, before all the whatever they have going on. I saw it all before. I saw it when they had nothing, you know, and I saw it when they wanted something to fight for. You know, because a lot of, if you want to be honest, a lot of these guys now, they stay home with their parents. You know what I'm saying? They had if boxing didn't work, you know, they still had a home to come to. Back in the day, those guys had something to fight for. Man, they had kids. They probably had an apartment or something that they was taking care of. So that was rent money. Though that was money to take care of their families. You know, that's why they were hungry. The guys that fight now, a lot of them don't have that. Some of them still do, but they're not getting the opportunity to become that world champion. And every time I go to the gym, I told those guys, I said, man, there's a couple of categories you can be in this sport. You know, you can be that guy that the people really want to see. You can be that guy that the promoter wants to push. You can be that guy who has the names that they can call on to give them the opportunity to fight on big cards. And some guys don't have that. Some guys are going to be opponents. You know, sometimes you might be that guy they call just to fill a slot. You know, so you got to accept your role in this sport, because everybody is not going to be a champion. You know what I'm saying? So it's just, man, I just don't have it in my heart, man. I mean, I used to wake up wondering what gym I'm going to go to. Who am I going to do an interview with, man? I mean, that passion used to be sun up to sun down, man. My parents, my family didn't see me for real. You know, I got all girls, you know, and it's my wife. So I used to get up in the morning and go to the gym or whatever. I can drive to Baltimore. I can drive to Frederick, Maryland. I can drive to down into Waldorf or DC or wherever it may be. You know what I'm saying? To give these guys an opportunity to present themselves, because the boxing world didn't know them.
Right.
And that's why I created my platform.
I think you for coming up to our gym the times that you came, you know.
It's times where, you know, with Tank had his thing going on up there, you know, and it's times where put it this way. I remember Tank when sometimes he used to come early on in his career when he first started. You know, Tank was loyal to his friends and who he worked out around with Lamont Peterson and those guys. He was loyal to those guys, so he would go to the gym and work out with them. And I think the first interview I did with Tank maybe was his second professional fight in, you know. And of course, the obvious question that you mainly ask new fighters when it comes to professional, what's the big difference you had? What's the change? And most of them say the gloves. And then the weight cutting. You know, every fight they hate the weight cut. You know what I'm saying? But I got a chance to, you know, interview, you know, Tank, man, and I appreciate it. And what I notice about fight, I see their growth with doing interviews. A lot of when I was talking to them, a lot of stuttering. They didn't really know how to, you know, present themselves on camera and things like that. But now when I watch Tank, he flows through his interviews, his you know what I'm saying, his speaking. He knows what he needs to say to get out there. And I say that about when Jared Hurd. When I interviewed Jared Hurd, a lot of stuttering and all that. So when Jared Hurd was getting in front of the camera, he knew what to say. Right now, I mean, everything. So all that little stuff to me is what I liked. You know what I'm saying? I can look back on my platform and say, dang, you know what? I remember this guy, man, when he couldn't really talk in front of a camera. He was nervous. Now look at him. You can give him a microphone on Showtime. They can put him on the Showtime network as one of the cast members on there to talk about the upcoming show that's about to happen. They're guests on Showtime, you know, and that's what that's the platform that I remember, you know what I'm saying? Developing those guys like that. And I know my place. I know my place when it comes to interviewing those guys. Some of those guys outgrow the local guy who's going to interview them. And I don't get mad at that because I know my position. I remember these guys, world champions. They're going to have Showtime talking to them. They're not going to have Pro and Fight Talk talking to them because the platform for Showtime is so large.
Right.
You know, so I just accept my time that I had with them and I watch them blossom. You know what I'm saying? And I just start off with the next fighter that people don't know about.
Right.
You know, and that's how I did it, man. But the way the sport has changed, man, you know, the local guys, I don't even want to mention any names far as that because I might forget some. You know what I'm saying? I did Jared and Tank because they did what they did in the sport. You know what I mean? And you have some guys that's still trying to get there. You know, and to be a humble fighter, I mean, humility is everything, man. If you don't have that, things will be snatched away from you real quick. And guys who were champions at one time, they don't realize that all it takes is one fight for you to lose that belt. And then guess what? When you lose that belt, the guy you lose it to, he's going to be the one in the spotlight, and they're not going to talk about you no more. You know, and that's what a lot of fighters don't understand. You know, I want to get them as like I love all those guys, man, because it takes a lot to get in that ring. You know what I mean? But I want the guys to be humble. I want them to be humble. I want them to keep training like they haven't made it, even though they have made it. You know what I mean? Because this sport, I talked to a lot of guys I said, man, this sport, when you're 35, it's very rare that you're still in it unless you're somebody's opponent.
Exactly.
Very rare.
If you ain't in position, you might want to hang it up.
Yeah, and then the only ones that still have it are the ones that proven themselves to be a champion like that. Those Canelo guys, the Floyd Mayweather guys, like that. Everybody's not like that. Right. And guess what? The big wigs in boxing, they're not gonna have another Floyd Mayweather, or I ain't gonna say they're not gonna have. They're not gonna allow another Floyd Mayweather, another Canelo when they can control the money. They were in control of the money when, like Floyd, he was in the hundreds of millions of dollars. They ain't gonna let no other fighter make $500 million per fight.
No, he changed the game.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen no more. That that's not gonna be reached anymore. You know, so I tell these guys, man, do what you're supposed to do. Accept your position in this sport because you only got a short time in it. A good fight only lasts maybe. Nowadays, if you started like when Tank and them started back in 2012, I want to say 2013, so somewhere around there, give yourself 12, 13 years, because right now Tank's at about 11 years now.
Yep.
You know, 12 or 13 years in the sport, and then you're still going to be in your 30s. Actually, you're still going to be in your 30s, and if you haven't made enough money to secure yourself for the rest of your life, would you have money to invest in other properties and things like that? People have to invest in businesses and things like that. If you're not that guy, you're gonna have to, after boxing, your career's over, you're gonna have to be like the regular Joe Blow. Go get a regular job, work until you're 65 and get a retirement. And then that's the category you're gonna be in. If you haven't solidified yourself, you know, by the time you're 30 in the pro game making millions of dollars, you know, hundreds of thousands sometimes not going to do it for you unless you got the right investments.
Mm-hmm.
You know, shoot, $1 million these days is nothing.
No, it's
$5
not.
million these days is nothing. You know,
It's not 2 million ain't nothing.
2 million, because guys don't know how to handle. You know, you got the guys that go, they get, of course, you know, the area the guys live in, of course, they're gonna like their jewelry, you know, they're gonna like the cars, they're gonna like that stuff. But when reality hit, when the money ain't rolling in no more, and you can't afford it, how you gonna keep that stuff maintained? When you go out and buy this big old luxury house, but you ain't got that big money coming in no more. You living on what just sitting in the bank. And that money is dwindling down when you have nothing to replace it. You can't replenish it.
I was looking at a lady the other day. She bought a house for $600,000, and I think where she lived, the property taxes was $25,000 a year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you ain't got,
and that's what they don't look at.
Yeah, that every year $25,000,
Damn.
that money.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's where, man, when I go to when I was going to those gyms, man, I was telling those fighters, I said, man, listen, if you ain't on that A side, hey, embrace the B side, because that's your opportunity. They bringing in, looking at you as the guy they can just walk over. Perfect scenario. Let's go back to Jared Hurd. Mm-hmm. When Jared Hurd was on television, he was fighting that guy. I forgot the name. He didn't disappear since Jared beat him. I forgot the guy's name, but he knocked the dude out. The dude that turned his back and ended up stopping the fight.
Oh yeah. I forgot his name.
Yeah. From that point on, Jared became the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Showtime kept having him on. Jared was always that guy. He looked like he was getting beat up during, but when that 10th, 11th, 12th round came, he walked those guys down, and he developed a character for himself. They looked at, Jared Hurd, he gonna take some punishment in them early rounds, but they already low. They looking at him to come back.
Right.
And that was his forte, to put him on those cards. Everybody had their signature. That was Jared's signature. Mm-hmm. You know, lose some early rounds, come back and knock the joke out in the late rounds.
And then D-Water.
Triple G, the same thing. You don't matter. It didn't matter who they put him in. It could be a nobody's name. They didn't care who he was fighting, because he was knocking everybody out. They was tuning in just for the knockout.
Exactly.
You know, so all the fighters, man, they have to develop a character for themselves. You know what I'm saying? What is your forte? What are you bringing to the table?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? What are you bringing to the table? And Coach, we was just talking earlier, like, I still haven't seen 100% of Tank yet. Nobody brought him out of him.
Nobody brought it out yet.
You know, I never saw Tank going in and look like he was in trouble and had to figure it out to come get the win. Exactly. I never saw him in that predicament.
Exactly. No comeback situation.
So if I was, let's look at it in this scenario. If I was a promoter, I'm coming in this boxing game, trying to put on the best shows I can put at the beginning, knowing I'm going to take a loss, but at the end of the day, when my career over, I'm gonna have nothing but gains, because I want the quality of my fights to be good so people can keep coming back. That's how I'm gonna look at it. I'm not gonna just fill a card up so all the guys on the A side just knock their fighters out and that's it.
Right.
And then you got your fans looking at you like, when you gonna fight for a world title? And you're not telling them, well, they ain't on my list right now. I'm just like, I'm trying to build my record up.
Right.
But yeah, you 20-0 with 18 knockouts. Why your name is not being mentioned on Showtime when they start listing some of the best fighters? You 20-0 with 18 knockouts.
You're right.
They're not putting themselves in a position to be recognized in the boxing world. And that's what I always say. If you want to be recognized in boxing, you have to be recognized in the boxing world, not just in DMV, not just in Philly, not just in Vegas, not just in Miami, not just up in wherever they fight, Minnesota now, you know. Right. So, you know, that's what it is, man. You have to have a serious blueprint, you know. And the way boxing is these days, they don't have that blueprint. Boxing taking these kids that's good out of the Olympics or they're good out of the Golden Gloves.
Mm-hmm.
You see guys becoming champions with only 6 or 7 fights.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So it always puts a red flag up to me when you got a guy that's 20-something-0 from our area fighting the guys that's 10-0, 11-0. I say, man, they just using them as a stepping stone.
Right.
You know, and most of the time that's what happens. You know, it plays out for them. That's because the hunger isn't there anymore.
Boxing watered down, man.
You know, and that's why I say I can't waste my passion on doing what I'm doing. I still got an idea in the back of my brain that's on hold right now. You know, it's on hold right now because the way I feel about the sport.
I definitely understand you, man. I sit back. I say it all the time. It's not the same. Me and Squeeze was talking about the 80s fighters and today's fighters. When the internet opened up to the world, man, it messed the game up.
Yeah.
You got these young fighters. They want to leave their coach and go be with this star boxer down in this state.
Yep.
And forget about what the coach did for them, you know. Mm-hmm. It's like they falling in love with another man. I want to go be around him and train with him instead of staying home and do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
The internet screwed it up, man.
Smoothie King.
Go thousands of miles away just to do the same damn thing.
Yeah,
you know?
I see a question up there.
Smoothie King, right back at you with another one. Hey, Miss Lloyd Reed, I seen you in the chat. I didn't want to cut the brother off. Thanks for the 10-piece McNugget. Ask Mom, what does the MV and DMV include in Baltimore? Is Baltimore included? LOL.
Yeah, we was discussing that last night.
Yep. Yeah, I remember you was mentioning that to me. See what happened? What messes it up, man? The streets mess it up. You know what I'm saying? The streets mess it up. What I mean by that is, you know, everybody got their little territories. Everybody got their little hoods and things like that, and they don't look at Baltimore as a DMV thing. But in my eyes, covering boxing, Baltimore is included. I spent plenty of time up there. You know, you got, because we talking about, I say DC, Maryland, and Virginia,
right?
The DMV. When it comes to boxing, it's included. Baltimore is included. Whatever that other stuff they got going on, when they say, you know, the different things going on, the way they dress, the way they right. talk, all that. That's when they exclude it. But for me, the sport of boxing, DMV is everywhere. If you live in Maryland, anywhere you coming from in Maryland, you part of it.
You part of
DC, you part of it. Virginia, you part of
it. Graylin, you hear that, Graylin?
Listen. I was no. Listen, you know why I was gonna let Mr. Juan go? Because did you hear what he said? He said, when you're talking boxing, in reference to boxing, he said DMV, yes. I get that. But what I'm saying is, geologically, geographically, logically, whichever the word is I'm looking for, Baltimore is not a part of the DMV. It's not. And I'm saying this because the DMV is the DC metro area. Everything around, all the counties around 495, that's the DMV. That's why
true. That's true. That inside the Beltway thing. Yep.
Right. That's why it's called the DMV, because everything inside of them is DC, Maryland, or Virginia. That's Montgomery County. But when you said in reference to boxing, that's why I said there's no need to argue with that. You know what I mean? Because you broke it down. DC, then Maryland, then Virginia, as far as covering boxing.
Yeah.
But not even beefing with nobody, not with how we dress or nothing. Geologically, Baltimore is not a part of the DMV.
Yeah, and that's why it goes back to Gary Digit Williams' blog, boxing along the Beltway.
Yeah,
because like you said, geographically, even on the news, when you turn on Fox 5 News, they don't really mention too much going on in Baltimore. Baltimore has their own whatever, like Fox 5. Baltimore has their whatever news it is in Baltimore.
I think because the shame, people don't want to be a part of Baltimore.
No, and you know what? And I think that goes back to, like you said, the lingo, the way they talk, the way they dress, all that's a part of. And that's when we get back to the streets. That's when we get back to the streets, the hoods, and all that type of stuff. And that's all that. That's the only thing that separates that, because the way the hoods are, that's it. Baltimore, they recognize who they are, and they consider themselves almost like a whole different state, basically.
That's why I always tell people Baltimore is its own entity.
Exactly.
Pretty much, you see what I'm saying? But when like, you know what I mean? Like I got, like I said, like I was telling you, I got friends, I got family in DC. It's nothing me in DC. That shit really come from people that's not really that's what they heard growing up. Oh, Baltimore don't rock with DC. No, you meet a DC dude, y'all gonna get along real well. You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
They already know how you get down, and you already know how they get down. So it's gonna be a mutual respect and love. You know what I mean?
So but when I covered it, man, I remember taking long drives to Winchester or Westminster. That's what it is. Westminster.
Oh yeah.
Frederick. You know, man, I mean, them some drives, man. Hagerstown, you know, those are some drives right there. And that's way out of the demographics of the DMV. But they're considered beltway boxing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because it's the DMV, what we call it. You know what I'm saying? So we're not going to go in DC and say, nah, we're just going to cover the guys from Southeast. You know what I'm saying? We ain't going to do that.
Mm-hmm. How's Gary doing?
Oh, Gary is doing this. Gary, you know, he's on his highest too, man. Because you know, before his mom passed, he was taking care of his mom for some years, and for a few years, and that's why he stepped out the boxing thing. You know, I'm telling you, man, because Gary and I, man, when we went to the shows, man, we get there, show started. Say for instance, shows they say doors open at 7 or 6. First bout at 7. Man, by what time we leave, they breaking the ring down. You know, we hearing all the clanking and everything for the boards being slammed around, and the Showtime behind the scenes crew breaking all the lights down and all that. By the time we leave, it's like close to 1 o'clock, man, in the morning.
I remember them days. You
know, and if I sit back, man, you look at all that time I spent. I was like, man, look at all this time I spent. And just for boxing to take a turn like this, you know, take a turn like this, you know, and so it just leave a sour taste in my mind. I just when I ain't had that desire to wake up in the morning and say, man, Dad, what gym I gonna go to today? Right. When that stopped, I said, yeah, it's time for me to pretty much shut the platform down. You know what I'm saying?
How long you been in the game, Mr. Juan?
I've been following boxing. This is how it is in my family, right? My mom bought first set of boxing gloves, man, because I was born in DC, right? And I lived there for the first 7 years of my life. And we moved right next door to Capitol Heights, Maryland. All that was right across the DC line, going into Capitol Heights from the southeast northeast corridor, right into across Southern Maryland, right to Southern Avenue. Right into the Maryland, you know, sorry, right over in Capitol Heights, you know. Mom bought a pair of gloves. My brother came home. My brother was my brother, he was a teenager back then, about 18. Had me in the basement working out, and decided to go out and got strung on drugs. So I took a turn and started playing little league football and basketball. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. When I got to high school, started playing basketball. But right after high school, when I like 18, when USA Boxing Tuesday night fights used to come on. Mm-hmm. Oh man, I made sure I was planning. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I was planning, and that's when Daryl Coley and all them was going on them cards. You know what I mean? But this the thing. This the funny part. When we used to be shooting ball at basketball on the court, right on Larchmont, right in Capitol Heights, Daryl Coley used to come out there and shoot with us and all that. Next thing you know, we can be running some games. Next thing you know, Daryl take off because he was in training. Right. Daryl would just take off, and that's when he was doing the silver gloves and all that stuff.
Right.
You know, so I started. I don't know. It just stuck with me from that point on. It just stuck with me, and then I used to like go to the gyms. And you know, the funny part when I got my career job when I worked at UPS, my route was on Bernard Roach's with his gym. His gym was on my route on Beach Road. Troy Fox had his barbershop right there on Beach Road, had the gym right in the little garage section with his training Tez, because Mike was still little. Tez, and I used to see them training all the time. And then I used to go to like, and another thing, we didn't have all these gyms back there in the early 90s and all that stuff. We only had a few, like I can count on my hand how many we had. Round One, Hillcrest, Kenilworth, it was just a couple of more. We only had 2 or 3 gyms. And all of a sudden now the gyms exploded. You know what I'm saying? All the gyms
everywhere. But
back to when I started though, when I ran into Troy, I went to an amateur show. I think he was throwing, or he was a part of, right there on Suitland Road and Silver Hill, whatever it was. It was a little bingo hall or whatever. And they used to rent that spot out, and they used to put the ring up in there and have some fights up in there. Right. So, after UPS, my brother-in-law came from California and had this camera with him. So that's how I started in boxing. I was a photographer. You know, I would come to and do the ringside photography and everything, right?
Wow.
And when I did that, I started setting in. I was like, man, that's when I ran into Gary. Gary was doing his thing with boxing along the Beltway. So I would go on his site, but I never would see any pictures. I would see all the writing and all that stuff. So I met up with Gary and I was like, man, Gary, you know what? I'm taking the pictures, man. You doing the blog and putting up the information. I said, you know what? I said, you don't mind? I asked, I said, do you mind if I teamed up with you so I can put a visual to what you're writing? He was like, sure, no problem. So I started adding my pictures to his blog. And that's when all of a sudden you can see the story of boxing in the area, the DMV boxing stuff. So we did that. And then when I talked to him, and then like a few years later, I think I started my blog in 2009, 2010. I told him, I said, Gary, you know what? I want to start my blog too, because Gary had a regular job. You know, by then I wasn't working. I had time. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I started going to the gyms and putting all my stuff up. When I go to the gyms, man, people's like, wow, when you gonna post your stuff? Because Facebook was really kicking in good. Because everybody used to run to Facebook just to see what I'm posting, what gym I was in, what videos, what the sparring that was going on. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And that's what kicked it off. So, and when I got into the mainstream, when I started going to the big shows, it was hard for me, man, because I wasn't recognized as a media guy. You know, so I was putting in my media credentials with Swanson and all those guys, and my material wasn't there. But I kept driving and pushing and pushing. I kept going to those other fights. I kept doing the local fights. I kept putting on my blog, so that actually when they pulled my name up in the credential list, my name and my website would start popping up, and they would see what I was doing. And then finally, I started getting added on to the media credentials that come into the bigger fights. That's, you know, so it's I say like 30 something years, man. I've been, you know, chasing this thing, man. You know, I was doing it on the outside, doing my homework and research, but people didn't start seeing my face up until 2009. Mm-hmm. But I had all my homework. I even came in this thing like almost like an investment. I wanted to open up a gym, so that's why another reason I was going to these gyms. And what I found out, ain't no money in these gyms, man.
Calvin said all the time.
You know, ain't no money in these gyms for real. And you got to have a serious backing, man. So that on the business side, I made the decision, nah, gym not gonna be it. So I'm investing myself and create this website. And then, but even with the website, it was all on me. I never got paid. When I go to these shows and all that stuff, I didn't get paid for this material. I was doing it because I loved it. I wanted to see these young fighters get recognized. You know what I'm saying? Because I remember I be telling people when they were, I said, man, I remember when Tank dyed his hair blonde, bleached his hair, whatever it was. And he fought at the equestrian center. You know what I'm saying? Down in Upper Marlboro. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? On Rosecroft card. You know what I'm saying? And I remember Jared, like I said, when bare chested, you know, and I have all these tattoos and all that type of stuff. I remember those dudes. You know what I'm saying? That's why I remember Gary Russell when he was an amateur and the daggone headpiece, you know, they were so little. The headpiece was so big on his head. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember
the headgear. And that's what I remember about these guys, man. And the platform And the platform, that's why I love the platform I have. And one thing I did about my platform, I didn't want to turn it into a tabloid. I just wanted to keep it straight boxing. Those guys got in trouble. I'm not putting it on my site. I wasn't going to do that. Mine was just straight boxing. I give you the schedule when these guys going to come. I put in, if I go to the gym, you ain't going to see no sparring on my side. You might see a little 4 or 5 second clip.
Right.
But you're not going to see no sparring on there because I'm not going to put their sparring information out there on the website. And also, I'm not going to I put their when I do it, like I said, I'm not going to do it a tabloid. I'm not going to do the sparring stuff. And then when I put the video clip together, and I always encourage these guys, I said, listen, when you at somebody's else media day as a fighter, because you know, if the fighters, they invite a lot of young fighters to their media day. I said, when you at somebody's media day, go up to the dude that's doing the interviews and let them know who you are so you can get your name out there. Because other than that, you'll just see yourself watching them interview. Like, for instance, I'm going to use you guys for example. You'll sit back and watch them interview Tank, and they have no clue who you are. So go introduce yourself. Mm-hmm. So when your name start getting out there, they're going to like, oh, yeah, I remember talking to that kid up there at Upton. You know what I'm saying? That's the kid he was talking about. Or that's the young kid Calvin told me about 5 years ago. Now he's, you know what I'm saying? So I always encourage those guys, man, to get your PR straight and keep your social media clean. You know what I'm saying? If you're up and coming fighter, make sure you post a lot of the stuff that you're doing in gym. Make sure you post some family stuff. You know what I'm saying? So when they see you got, oh, this guy, he got his head on straight. But as soon as you start posting, you hanging out with your buddies, holding the bottle up, holding a gun and all that type of stuff, they don't understand that these big people who got the money, they have people watching your background, see what you're doing. They step away. And you know, I heard so many stories about how fighters been turned down, or how fighters. Before I get to that, man, do you know this boxing game? What I'm talking to the right people. Of course, y'all know how thick of a skin you have to have in this sport. You have to have a thick skin. I mean, from media to the fighters, to the managers, to the promoters, even to the fans. You have to have a thick skin, man, because it's going to be so many things said about you that's not true. It's going to be so many things trying to get taken from you. You know what I'm saying? It's so many times that people gonna try to sabotage you. You know, I mean, it goes on, man. I seen the sabotage part. You guys know when Al Heyman came to town back in 2015 or late 2014, early 2015, when he came to the DMV before PBC came about. Around that time, he had put together a contract to put so many shows on per year. So he had to stack up on his fighters to put on those shows. So when he did that, man, you know, when he came to town, man, it was stories that was told me when he sent his team out here, you know what I'm saying? Brad and Sam and those guys. It was say for instance, I'm gonna use y'all as examples since you're here. Hey, Calvin, do you know any other good fighters in this area, man, that you know, that's worth, you know, putting on TV for real, that put on the show and they won't look like they just from Wilson, North Carolina or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And Calvin, you can say, oh yeah, you can go down to whatever gym. I'm gonna make a gym up. You can go down to Smooth Sailing Gym. They got this kid down there, you know, he's been in the Golden Gloves. He probably never get the title, but he was always up there to the finals. You know what I'm saying? It's a kid that can really work. But then you got this other joker. They ask, can you go, man, what other kids you got in your area, man, that can make it? Or they bring a name to you. Oh, we can bring, you know, it's this kid named Kevin Bradford. He's good. You know what I'm saying? And the dude to say, you know what, man? I wouldn't mess with Kevin, man. They hard to deal with. You know what I'm saying? They be wanting too much money. This and this, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sabotage a dude's career. They don't never talk to PBC again. You know what I'm saying? Just because they approached the guy and he said he wouldn't deal with him. You know,
real talk.
And that's the type of stuff that goes on, man.
Yeah. And you wonder why you been blackballed. Because people making up terrible stories on you.
Yeah. And that's it, man. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot that goes on to this sport, man, that I've seen. I mean, I've seen contracts be dealt up. I've seen contracts, period, that have all these clauses in it, man. It's ridiculous. Somebody asked me, Juan, won't you be a manager? I said, I thought about it, but nah, because it's so much, man. The temptation is out there so much that I don't want to be tempted like that with the money. Juan, I'll take, offer your fight. Look, it's $75,000 for this fight right here. But see if your fighter can take it for 50. I'll give you the 25.
Yeah.
And you get a third of the dude's purse, or 33rd, whatever, of the dude after that 50,000 he got.
Terrible.
You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, man.
They don't tell you about that.
Yeah, they don't tell you that stuff, man. I mean, this sport, man, is
Wicked.
Yeah, it's wicked, man. It's
First, I want to say
stuff, man, that goes on that the fans don't know about. See, the fan just see the final production. You know what I'm saying? They see the ring walk, and when that first bell sound, they see the fight. But they don't see when he gets to that championship fight, they don't see all the 4 or 5 fighters that was offered to him before he got to that championship fight. You know?
Absolutely right.
It could have been one of the guys that fan wanted to see, but the dude was too pricey. He was out, he outpriced himself.
Hey, Warren.
Yeah.
First, I want to say hello, man. How you been, man? Long time no see you.
I'm going, man. I'm going. Hey, listen, I had two knee replacements, man. I had a partial. I had a partial on my left knee, and I had a full replacement in March of 23 on my right knee.
Wow.
And I'm recovering from that right knee. I'm recovering from that full one, man. But other than that, that's it, man.
Man, you looking good. You sounding good. You still working.
Yeah, I'm. I was telling Kenny, I cut the boxing stuff out, man. I don't cover boxing like I did. Mm-hmm. I put myself on the shelf. You know what I'm saying? Because that passion ain't there no more. That passion ain't there no more, man. Because a lot of these fighters got big headed. They don't have that hunger, that humility that they had when they didn't have anything. You know what I'm saying? They don't have that. And I loved it when they didn't have nothing, because the interviewing was so impressive, because they was telling me about their dream. You know what I'm saying? They was telling me about their dream. And if their dream was to be world champion in all weight class, all divisions, the WBC, WBA, IBF, and what is that other one? WBA. You know what I'm saying? If that was their dream and they just won one belt, you know what I'm saying? And they think they made it. They forgot about their dream they told me about. You know what I'm saying? And,
I remember them talks. I remember them talks, them interviews, and some of the talks, man, you had.
Yeah.
well taught to me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's man. You know what? Let me tell you about this one interview I did. I did an interview with Jared, and this one, Jared Ernesto was in the pocket at the time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And Jared was working his way up before he got his first belt and everything. And Jared was in that middle age. He was about 25, something like that, 26. And I asked him, "What's your plan? By a certain age, what's your cutoff if you don't make it? Where you guys want to make it to?" And I think they told me around 26, 27.
Mm-hmm.
If they didn't blossom into the blueprint they put together, Jared had to go get a job. And right at that age bracket where they told me it was going to stop, is right when he beat that Galarza, I think. Frank Galarza, that's his name, Kenny. Frank Galarza on television. When he beat Frank Galarza, that's when things changed for him. You know, he beat Frank Galarza up. Frank Galarza turned his back on him in the ring, and the ref stopped it because he was overmatched. Yeah. And from that time, that's when he started fighting Tony Harrison. He got that, you know, and then that big Lara fight, Austin Trout, you know, all that. And every single time I would go to Hillcrest and talk to those guys with those particular fights, in my heart, in my gut, I was like, man, Jared's going to win this fight. Mm-hmm. Every time. But that last time he came and it was time to fight Julian Williams, when I went to do that interview, I didn't feel it, man. I did not feel it. And I'm telling you why I didn't feel it, because then Jared was doing training time. He was out doing all these interviews. He was cutting his training short just to make the interview time and things like that. So I sat back, man, and I watched that fight. And when I saw him lose, I was like, man, I said, my gut was right.
That was it.
You know, things changed for him after that. You know, things changed for him, man. And also during that time, I saw a different Jared. I saw a different Jared. I love him, but I saw a different Jared. You know what I'm saying? And I think that comes from the platform he was on at that time. You know? And part of it, I expected to see the guy enjoying himself at a high platform. But the way you got there, you had to maintain that. You know, you have to maintain that. And I saw it, like, it fell off a little bit. It fell off a little bit. You know, and then all of a sudden, you know, people really started. Everybody on this platform right now, we know what to expect when we saw Jared fight. You know what I'm saying? He would take a lot of punches at the beginning, but in our heart, we knew he was going to come back at that 10th, 11th round and win the fight. That's what we knew, right? But things changed when social media started recognizing it. Social media started noticing that he's going to be fighting some guys that knew how to break that stuff down the smart way and put a game plan together to beat him. And that's what we saw with Julian Williams. When I went to all the press conferences for Julian, that Julian Williams, I saw in his eyes, man, that he had it. He already knew he won that fight. And he was saying he's going to win this fight. I'm going to win this fight. I'm going to win this fight. And, you know, I don't care what the media say. I don't care what it says on paper.
Oh, yeah, he was super focused.
Was that?
He was super focused for that fight.
Yeah.
I remember some of the interviews when he was in Ramadan. It was a lot of stuff that I do remember going up there, watching him work. I remember.
Yeah. And that's what it takes, man. Because in fights like that, the fans have to remember somebody gonna win, somebody gonna lose. You know what I mean? And you got to embrace that as a boxing fan. You know what I'm saying? And we always talk about robberies and things like that. And you're one of the guys that you like, my man, Mike Fox, the professor. Yeah. I mean, you guys love him. You know, I see interviews. Yeah, you interview him. You know, you guys invite him to camp and everything. You know, but when I saw him lose that fight, man, a couple of fights I saw him lose, man, that he deserved. I don't know whatever that lady for whoever organization she was in that went against him, man, on that card was terrible, man.
Yeah, I remember that fight.
Yeah, I could not believe it. And you know what?
That guy.
Yeah, the boxing fans and boxing world knew he won. I'm just upset that he just get that opportunity to get that title shot he deserved, man.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Because after that fight, he deserved another shot, man.
So, Mr. Warren, I want to switch subjects real quick. We got some fights tomorrow. And I want to get your opinion before we get out of here. What you think about Abdullah Mason?
What's that?
What you think? What's your thoughts on Abdullah Mason? He fight tomorrow on that Jermaine Ortiz 10 female card.
Who is he fighting?
Gurment, what's his name? Wait a minute, I'll tell you his name.
And what card is that?
The Teofimo Ortiz card.
Let me see that card. I'm gonna jump on that card real quick. Because a lot of times, man, when they put fights together, first thing I do is go to BoxRec and I look them up. I look up their boxing history. I look up how they won the fight.
Benjamin Gurment, that's his name.
Let me see, I'm gonna let me look him up. I'm gonna look up that card real quick.
Missed it out too good.
Yeah, y'all got one of the finest of the DMV, man. I remember when he made his move of doing what he was doing, man. Him and Gary.
Yeah.
He actually walked me through a lot of stuff, didn't you?
Yes, yeah, man. I remember when you guys got with Tank.
Yeah.
You guys were figuring it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It hasn't always been. See, people, the boxing fans, they see y'all up here already because they see where you come from. You know what I'm saying?
They don't know what made us go that way either.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's true too. Because I knew some of the stuff, you know what I'm saying, that some of the cards and some of the stuff y'all was on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And those things changed.
Yeah.
And the people changed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
What's the young kid you Abdullah Mason, you said?
Yep.
Oh, this is babyface dude right here.
Up and coming prospect.
Yeah, 11-0, 9 knockouts.
That's him.
Let me see.
That's the kid from out of Ohio.
Benjamin Gurment.
Yep.
Hold up, that's the kid from out of Ohio.
Yeah.
That's the Muslim
Young
kid.
and go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a stoppage. Yeah, that's gonna be a stoppage right there.
That's that Ohio player mob. The Mason
based on
brothers.
what I'm seeing. Yeah, based on what I'm seeing, he gonna stop this kid. But that's what I like. I like the young up and coming prospects. You know what I'm saying? See, right now, the way boxing is now, people, it doesn't take long for you to get recognized. This kid, 11 fights on nice cards like that. Shoot, 11 fights, you still fighting on local cards back in the day. You still fighting on local cards back in the day.
You ain't get on
now you fighting on mainstream cards.
Mainstream,
they ain't playing.
Yeah, they ain't playing with you no more. You know, and a lot of that is because of the business.
You know, Coach Squeeze was a fighter. He had 30 fights at the back of the bar. He never made it out the back of the bar.
There you go. But you know what? Some fighters want to be that hometown favorite. They like being the hometown favorite.
Okay.
They love fighting at home. Because they like hearing the rah
yeah.
from the hometown fans. But when they cross the line and go to another state, they don't have no clue of who he is.
Yeah. And we see what happens after that.
And we see what happens after that. They go out of the state, get knocked out. You know what I'm saying? They go across and you really find out that this sport tougher than what you made it when you was a hometown boxing fan.
Yeah.
Because people want to see more than that. They don't create. They sabotaging themselves because you creating to be that hometown favorite, and you wondering why your hometown fans, when they see Showtime and they see these, when they home watching the big fights, and they say, well, the top such and such in this division is XYZ, and they don't see their hometown favorite with being 25-0 with 24 knockouts. And they see a guy hometown, that's on HBO. They talking about being one of the top, 12-0, 11 knockouts, but he's fought this person. Right. You know what I'm saying? But when they bring your 24-5 fights up, he fought Jason Smith, Robert Williams, people that they don't even know about. You know what I'm saying?
Say Robert Williams.
Yeah, Robert Williams.
Go ahead and teach, man. Go ahead and teach. I try to tell son, look at stuff, man. I just shake my head like, man.
Yeah. See you when you say I used to fight. See what you say, yo. I was 30-0 at the bar.
Yeah, you 30-0 at the back of the bar. You ain't never make it out. You know what I mean?
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Why I ain't get
Only
no
15
contract,
people knew
you. See you. Why I ain't never get no contract?
You was good with you making me happy.
And you know what? Your fan base, your only fan base is those 200 seats that you thought you were selling, doing a big thing at home. You thought those 200 seats were, yeah, I sold it. I sold 200 tickets. Or I sold 500 tickets at Maryland Live. I'm just saying Maryland Live just to be throwing it out there. I sold tickets at Maryland Live. Or I sold 500 tickets at Rosecroft. That's cool for your fans that love you.
Step out there in that world and see them 20,000.
Yeah, but when you can fly, when it's just maybe your mama gonna go see you, your daddy gonna go see you, your trainer and your cut man, when y'all on that little humble in that van and you getting drove into the arena out in, let's say in Vegas, that's all you got around you. Everybody else tuning in on TV, and next thing you know, they dropping their heads because you got stopped. You know what I'm saying? You got destroyed. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because you ain't take the right steps in your career, man.
You gotta move around and get used to everybody.
Yeah, you want to be the hometown favorite.
Just give me the good news, man.
Yeah, and your fans wondering, man, when you gonna become world champion? You got all these fights and you got all these knockouts. But you ain't fighting the dudes that's the dogs. You ain't fighting the dogs, man.
I'm fighting cab drivers.
Fighting cab drivers, dudes at the car wash. Oh, let me tell you this one real quick. What time we gotta get off here?
Go ahead.
Man, I used to go to these shows, man, for real. And I tell you, week after week or month after month, from Wilson, North Carolina. These jokers used to come up here, man, look like Fred Flintstone in the ring, you know, all this type of stuff. Getting knocked out, and then when they get knocked out, they get taken to the back, take his shorts off, give it to the next dude with his so he can come out there. I mean, it's horrible, man. They go to the car wash. Hey, you want to make $400 or $500 real quick? Dude, put them all in the van. They come up 95. They come up 95 and get their little paycheck, man, and get sent home. The dude that brought them up and get 200, and they get sent home with 300.
Damn.
Yeah, y'all remember days like that.
Yep. In DC, before Alfred Grant passed away, he was the boxing commissioner. Before he passed away, he put a stop to it. He's like, man, ain't no more North Carolina fighters coming up here.
Yeah.
In DC. Yep. And it's a shame, man, because those type of fights, man, is what kills some of those boxers, because they get up there and they sell these tickets to their fans. Their fans expecting them to see something compatible, you know what I'm saying? And they want to see their fighter compete, the one they love, the one they watch, the one they made, you know, they waited to see, and get into this dude that don't know. He look like he don't have a clue what he doing. You know, and sometimes those are the dangerous ones. He throwing them wild punches, man. Guy, you get caught on the forearm, you can break something, man.
Yeah,
because he's swinging wild.
North Carolina got a stronger amateur system now. The fighters are getting pretty good.
That's true. You know, that is true.
Get ready to turn pro, you know.
Yeah, because I seen a couple of guys. I forgot the one guy's name, but one of them last name was Williams. His father used to train at I think he fought at 147.
140. He's
140. Yeah, his dad was a cop, and he used to train. His dad trained him, and they was doing their thing down there for a minute. But at a certain point, I ain't never see him blossom, man.
Yeah, they. I think he caught one loss and bounced back. But
okay,
yeah, he doing pretty good.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. But the thing is, you got these fighters, man. When you develop them, you know what I like. I like some of the way the amateur fighters do. Some of the trainers. I put it on the trainers because a lot of these trainers, they put their guys. Matter of fact, let's talk about Bernard. Let's talk about Bernard Hackett. Bernard Hackett, man. His dad.
Before we go there, it's good, right?
Huh?
You about to say something good, right?
Oh yeah, most definitely. What I like about Bernard, His son was fighting amateur, but he wasn't really gaining nothing. You know what I'm saying? So he had him fighting out of state. Once he moved him to fighting out of state, that's when you saw Jaleel fighting on all these being on these international teams, USA teams, because he was going to the different states. He was going to the different states and fighting different styles. Fighting here all the time, you see the same style all the time.
You see the same person, yeah.
The same person, same style. So he was moving his boy to go to fight in Florida, California area, and you start fighting different styles and stuff. That's what got him much better.
He an animal now.
Man, I used to see Jaleel when he was like 6. I used to call him little Joe Frazier, because that's how he used to hike that shoulder up and then come forward all the time, man. I used to call him a little Joe Frazier, man.
Good kid.
Yep, but I like the way his dad did him. Now look at him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's moved out of the area. You can't call him a local fighter because he moves around. He can fight here, he can fight out of state and everywhere and still compete.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
But yeah, man. So that's pretty much.
Hey man, I appreciate you coming on.
Hey, I love it, man. Appreciate you guys, man.
Oh, yeah,
hey, I still got
that was a classic right there.
Hey,
I had no idea, man, that you wasn't covering boxing no more until I called you.
Yeah, man. Yep. Because I guess after having my knee surgery, that gave me that time to sit down a little bit because I wasn't mobile. Right. And I really thought about it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, I don't have that. If I don't have that drive, if my knee down, you still want to get out even when you're down. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have that to say, I still want to go to the gym. You know what I'm saying? To talk to these dudes.
Who you got tomorrow? Tio versus Ortiz. Who you got tomorrow, Juan?
I got. Give me Lopez. I got Lopez. He'll get a unanimous decision, I think.
All right. Let's go with who you got. Your take on Davis versus Pedrazza.
Keyshawn, you know what? Keyshawn changed on me, man, but he still could fight. But his personality changed on me, man. Maybe because he got the marketing. It's the marketing side that put in now. You know how you got to talk a little bit more now to put yourself out there. And he definitely got that down now. But I give him a unanimous decision too. No, you know what? Pedrazza. He might knock Pedrazza out. I give him the TKO. He'll stop him. He'll stop him.
Yeah, he's supposed to stop Pedrazza.
Yeah, he'll stop him.
Okay. That's what you going with?
Yep. Lopez unanimous decision. Pedrazza. No, Davis on the TKO.
And what about a duel of Mason?
Is that the one you just talking about? That's gonna be a stoppage too.
Yeah, that kid's sharp.
Yeah, that's gonna be a stoppage too.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, because it's the way that card put together. Yep.
I'm gonna put a parlay in. You know what I mean? So if I don't hit, I'm gonna send you my bill. Smoothie King.
Hey, when it comes to that gambling, man, I say that's all on you, bro.
Miss Tanya Vandross Williams Jr., thanks for the 10-piece McNugget. Good evening, Rize Podcast, family, friends, coaches, Calvin, Kenny, Senior, Smoothie King. Salute, Juan.
Appreciate you, Mr. Oh, you dropped some bombs on us tonight.
Appreciate it,
Smoothie
man.
King, right back at you with another one. She loving the my high. What's going on? Tell your son I say what's up, little Tank Gang, man. Thanks for the color in the chat. Eddie Hearn sent that contract.
Okay. Who you got tomorrow, Coach Calvin?
The same thing Warren just said.
What about you, Coach Kenny?
I
know you don't agree. I know you don't agree.
KO and TO by decision.
What about Abdullah Mason?
By knockout.
You just scared all my picks now. Who you got, Squeeze?
I got you know what? I'm going with Ortiz. I'm going with Ortiz.
So you gonna mix it up?
I'm going with Davis, because T.O. like a load of clothes. He wishy-washy.
I think
And I'm going with Ortiz, gonna shock everybody and make T.O. come up with some new excuses. That's my narrative. Davis versus Pedrazza. Y'all sleeping on Pedrazza. Always been a tough competitor in my Floyd Mayweather voice.
Father Time is there, buddy. Father Time.
You heard what I said. And he's a tough competitor. I don't got Keyshawn knocking them out, but I got him getting a majority or split decision, because sometimes Keon can have lows in his fight performances. Sometimes he waits too much. I'm a Keyshawn Davis fan though, but he could take off some rounds. I think the veteranship of Pedrazza gonna give him a better showing than y'all guys giving him. Mason versus Gurment by murder. That's my predictions for them all.
I think Lopez might cut T.O. early in the fight. That's how he gonna win if you cut him.
Ortiz?
Yeah.
Ortiz might cut your female?
Cut T.O.
Marco Boxing. What's up, Marco Boxing? Closing arguments. I gotta get out of here. I gotta get up early tomorrow.
Love over hate.
You got anything to close out on when we close out the show, Mr. One? We got closing arguments.
No, he done said all he had to say. See you. Go ahead. Fuck that. See ya. Shit. He done closed the argument, opened it, reclosed that motherfucker. He sold it, went back to the guy he sold it to.
Yes, man.
Back for it. Nah, I'm fucking with you, Mr.
It's all covered, man. It's all covered.
Good people. He closed the arguments for all our ass. Nah, I'm just fucking with you. Right back at you. With another one. Everybody was over here joking me. Yeet. Chat work. Thanks for the color in the chat. Who are the up and coming fighters coming out of boxing? We got Titus, aka Sniper. We got Old Doug, not Snoop Dogg, but Old Doug. And we got who else? We got
all of them.
All of them. We got all of them. We got all of them. And Coach Kenny voice, we got all of them. When y'all come to the gym gonna be empty because we got all of them. More professional. Coach Calvin better get him some new shoes because he gonna be on the run.
I'm start bringing them on here so y'all can get to know. I'm gonna start bringing them.
Yeah. Or we'll send them over to Juan. He'll take care of them. Smooth the kid, right?
Don't send them this way. I'm still resting.
My man. Brashley McClendon, thanks for the 5-piece McNugget. Keyshawn trying to get him never at next. If he win, he gonna have to fight Shakur eventually to unify. Who y'all got in that fight?
What's up with Shakur saying he gonna retire? He retiring or something? What's that?
Oh, he retired. That's right.
Don't believe
it. Y'all got Shakur. I'ma go out on a limb. Tina Marie, Rick James, 1989, off of that LP. I'm out on a limb. I'm giving in to you again. I'ma go with a 50-50 if Keyshawn execute his game plan, be aggressive, cut the ring off, and make Shakur trade with him, he can win that fight. But if he's stagnant and don't apply smart pressure, the game plan, of course, Shakur got better footwork. He will outbox him, but he do have I'm gonna give him a puncher's chance that he could win that fight.
Squeeze. Everybody Shakur spar, he beat him.
I feel you, Coach Cal. But Coach Cal, I'm going with how I feel, Coach. Smoothie King. Now, he gonna run into a wall one day, Coach Cal. He gonna run into a wall. Right back at you with another one. I got what you saying, Coach. She loving the Mizzy for Chizzy, my Nizzy. Thanks for the 2-piece McNugget. Shakur said he retired and no one cares. I feel you, bro. I feel you. Love over hate. I'm out.
Love over hate.
Appreciate you again, Mr. Warren. Thanks for coming on, dropping that knowledge to us, man. I really appreciate the show tonight.
Yeah, that was a good show. Nice working for you, Cal. And seeing you, yeah, I guess been fired. This was his audition. Yeah, it was nice. Y'all, this is the last. I'm Shakur and Stevenson, y'all last tonight. See y'all. I'm going every time, man. Nah, see y'all tomorrow, man.
Peace.
That joke is funny. All right, what's going on?
No, we still live.
I see it's 18 after.
Oh yeah, that's it. Y'all ain't got anything else for me?
That's it, guys. I got to roll. I got to jump on another call.
Okay.
All right.
I appreciate y'all.
Nice seeing you, man.
I appreciate you.
And I appreciate you, Mr. Warren.
Thank you.
I put on for this, yeah. And I understand that this shit wasn't easy, but nigga, we did it, yeah. And all them hoes and all them niggas that wasn't fucking with us, now we them niggas. Now we rich now, we got money, I don't give a shit, no. And we did it. Young nigga come up from nothing, now he getting to them riches. And it's the life of a young rich nigga.